Courtrooms aren't supposed to end like this. Yet here we are, staring at the most disturbing headline of the decade. Lil Nas X silenced forever? On August 21st, Los Angeles witnessed a spectacle the media rushed to frame as just another celebrity meltdown.
Spirit, he's alright, he's very remorseful for what happened, but it can happen to any family, he's going to get the help that he needs, and just keep him in your prayers, give him the same grace and mercy that God give everyone.
A superstar wandering half-dressed through the streets, shouting into the void, tackled by police in front of flashing cameras. The world laughed, the tabloids feasted, and fans prayed. But behind those viral clips lies a story far darker than anyone dares admit. Because leaked documents and insider whispers tell a different tale. They point not to a meltdown, but to a meticulously staged takedown, engineered by powerful hands determined to control the narrative. And the whispers don't stop there. According to courtroom rumors already setting social media on fire, Lil Nas X isn't just fighting charges, he's staring down the ultimate punishment, the death sentence. Think about it. The same industry that pushed him to the top, that cashed in on his every controversy, now preparing to bury him for good. Was this justice, or was it execution by design? Stay with me, because the deeper we dig, the uglier the story gets. The cameras were still flashing when the words first began to spread. Lil Nas X isn't coming back from this. At first, people thought it was just another trending hashtag, another piece of internet gossip meant to stir outrage and clicks. But this wasn't TikTok rumor mill fodder. This was the kind of headline that makes governments release statements and PR teams lose sleep. Let's rewind. August 21st, 2025. A date now etched into pop culture history, not because of an album drop or a sold-out arena tour, but because the world's most flamboyant hitmaker was found half-naked, wandering Los Angeles streets, babbling like a prophet no one understood. To the casual observer, it looked like another celebrity crash and burn moment. A musician pushed too far by fame. Another meltdown in the long, messy history of Hollywood self-destruction. But the truth, as always, doesn't live in the headlines. The truth lurks in the margins, in the parts the media doesn't show you. And trust me, the truth here is darker, dirtier, and far more orchestrated than anyone dares admit. Witnesses reported Lil Nas X stumbling down Ventura Boulevard, wearing nothing but cowboy boots and underwear, singing fragments of songs that didn't exist. To some, it looked funny, viral meme material. To others, it looked heartbreaking and artist broken in public. But then came the first twist. TMZ footage showing him suddenly switching from playful swagger to desperate panic, begging strangers to stop filming him. That clip alone raised alarms. How does someone flip moods like that in seconds? Was it drugs or something deeper? Here's where the whispers start. According to anonymous insiders, Nas wasn't just out of control. He was out of control because he was being controlled. That night, multiple paramedics reported symptoms inconsistent with a normal drug high, glazed eyes, rapid mood shifts, and a strange resistance to sedatives. One medic, whose statement mysteriously disappeared from official reports, claimed he suspected chemical tampering. In plain English, Nas might have been drugged without his knowledge. If that's true, then who benefits? Who gains from breaking Lil Nas X in the most humiliating way possible? Follow the money, and the trail points straight back to the industry itself. Remember, Lil Nas X isn't just another chart-topping artist. He's an open rebellion wrapped in cowboy boots. From Old Town Road to his infamous Satan shoes, he didn't just sell records, he rattled cages. Religious groups called him dangerous. Politicians branded him immoral. Even fellow rappers threw shade, some calling him an industry plant, others outright hostile. He was never meant to play by the rules, and that's exactly why the rules started playing him. Leaked memos allegedly circulating among major label executives suggest Nas had plans to go independent. That's right, break free from the machine, own his masters, and build his own empire. And if there's one thing the industry hates, it's a cash cow breaking loose from the fence. Do you think the billion-dollar machine was going to let him walk away with his brand, his influence, and his controversy magnet intact? Not a chance. So, what's the best way to destroy an artist before he escapes? Simple. Discredit him. Turn him from a fearless cultural icon into a laughingstock. Stage a public meltdown, leak rumors of substance abuse, and then let the court system finish the job. And just like that, the same industry that built him up becomes the hammer that crushes him down. Now, let's talk about those court rumors, because this is where the story goes from scandal to outright horror. According to whispers making their way through courthouse halls, prosecutors aren't satisfied with simple assault charges. They're pushing for an attempted murder of law enforcement enhancement. Translation? If the jury buys their narrative, Lil Nas X could be facing not just jail time, but the death penalty. Yes, you heard that right. The industry's golden boy, turned scapegoat, turned sacrificial lamb, might actually be silenced forever under the law.
Pause and let that sink in.
A pop star sentenced to die. Does that sound like justice? Or does it sound like theater? Because make no mistake, this entire saga feels less like reality and more like a script carefully written behind closed doors. Fans, of course, aren't buying it. Hashtag Justice for Nas exploded on social media within hours of the arrest. Supporters pointed out inconsistencies in the reports, missing CCTV footage, and a suspicious lack of body cam recordings from the officers who took him down. How convenient. One viral tweet read that the only videos we get are shaky cell phone clips, but none from the people actually arresting him. Meanwhile, critics are celebrating. Some pundits are already calling this the necessary end of an artist they claim went too far with his shock tactics. But here's the question they won't ask. If this was truly about justice, why are the leaks pointing to backroom deals, sealed evidence, and confidential files that never make it to trial? Sources close to the case claim one of the arresting officers privately admitted, "We were told to go hard. We were told to make it stick." Told by who? That part, of course, never made it into the official record. And as the case builds, the silence from Hollywood elites is deafening. The same stars who once praised Lil Nas X for breaking boundaries are suddenly mute. No public statements, no support, just radio silence. Almost like they were warned to keep their mouths shut. Which brings us to the biggest twist of all. Courtroom insiders now whisper that a draft verdict has already been circulated before the trial even begins. Imagine that. A verdict written before the jury is sworn in. And in that draft, one phrase stands out like a neon sign: sentenced to death. Is it true? Hard to confirm. But the fact that this rumor even exists should terrify anyone paying attention. Because if it's real, then this isn't just the fall of Lil Nas X. This is a public execution masquerading as justice. And here's where part one leaves us. A superstar on the brink, an industry sharpening its knives, and a courtroom buzzing with whispers of the unthinkable. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, it's only just beginning. Because in part two, we're diving headfirst into the leaked reports themselves, the documents, the testimonies, and the anonymous confessions that reveal just how deep this rabbit hole goes. So here we are. Part one ended with whispers of a draft verdict, a courtroom buzzing with the possibility of a death sentence, and a superstar staring down the abyss. But if you thought that was the darkest part of the story, buckle up. Because the leaked files we're about to dig into make the streets of Los Angeles look like child's play. First up, the confidential police reports. You know, the ones that somehow never see daylight unless someone on the inside slips them under the table. According to one such leak, Lil Nas X's toxicology report raised red flags. Officially, the public was told he may have been under the influence of narcotics.
Convenient, right?
But the leaked report paints a different picture. Traces of substances not typically associated with recreational use, but with chemical sedation.
Think about that.
We're not talking about weed, pills, or even heavy psychedelics. We're talking about compounds that insiders describe as experimental. Drugs that don't just get you high, they strip you of control. One anonymous medical examiner allegedly said, "This looked less like a party gone wrong, and more like someone had been chemically engineered to implode in public." That's not a breakdown, that's a setup. And it doesn't stop there. Another document, stamped confidential, but now floating around online forums, claims that before the arrest, Lil Nas X's security detail had mysteriously been reassigned. His personal bodyguards? Replaced with temporary hires just 24 hours earlier. Who ordered the switch? No one can seem to answer. But if you follow the paper trail, the order allegedly came from executives tied to his record label. Coincidence? Or chess pieces being moved into place? Now, let's talk about money, because in scandals like this, cash leaves fingerprints everywhere. According to leaked financial records, a suspicious seven-figure payment was made to a private consulting firm the week of Nas's arrest. The firm's specialty? Crisis management. Translation: companies that profit off ruining or saving reputations, depending on who signs the check. So ask yourself, was Lil Nas X's breakdown managed chaos? Did someone write the script, pay the bill, and then sit back while the world watched him crumble? And then there's the courtroom leak itself. A source inside the Los Angeles County Clerk's office claims drafts of the verdict were circulating before jury selection even began. One line in particular allegedly read, "The accused is hereby sentenced to capital punishment in the state of California." Wait a minute, California hasn't even executed anyone in decades. But the phrasing is there, sitting like a ghost in the machine. How does a draft verdict talk about the death penalty before a trial starts? Answer: it doesn't. Unless the outcome was predetermined. Unless the game was rigged from the very beginning. Fans online are piecing this puzzle together faster than the mainstream media can bury it. TikTok threads break down every inconsistency, Twitter storms accuse the courts of being puppets, and Reddit is ablaze with conspiracy theories that don't even sound like theories anymore. They sound like common sense. One viral post read, "They're not putting him on trial. They're staging an execution and calling it law." And let's not forget the silence of Hollywood's elite. Think about it. Where are the big-name endorsements? Where are the so-called allies? Celebrities who once praised Lil Nas X as a pioneer for culture and representation are suddenly MIA. No hashtags, no statements, no solidarity. Just cold silence. Some say it's fear. No one wants to be the next target. Others think it's complicity, that they've been bought, silenced, or promised protection if they keep quiet. Either way, the silence speaks volumes. But here's the kicker. Leaked emails suggest Nas himself might have sensed the walls closing in. Days before his arrest, he allegedly sent cryptic messages to close friends. One read, "If anything happens to me, don't believe the story they tell you." Another, "They want me gone before I can tell the truth." What truth was he referring to? Nobody knows. Or maybe nobody dares to say. Public reaction is split right down the middle. Some fans are devastated, calling this the ultimate betrayal by the industry they supported with their wallets and streams. Others are skeptical, dismissing the rumors as internet fiction. But let's be real, when have the most outrageous Hollywood rumors not eventually turned out to be true? Remember Britney's conservatorship? Remember Epstein's suicide? At first, they were just whispers too. And now we come to the ugliest part, the alleged motive. According to insiders, Lil Nas X's downfall wasn't just about control, it was about sending a message. He was loud, unapologetic, and unpredictable. He didn't just play with boundaries, he shattered them. To the establishment, that wasn't just annoying, it was dangerous. He had influence, millions of fans, and the power to shape narratives outside their control. And in an industry built on manipulation, someone with true independence is the ultimate threat. So, what do you do with a threat you can't contain? You destroy it.
Publicly.
Brutally. Irreversibly. You stage the kind of downfall that makes every other artist watching from the sidelines say, "I'll never step out of line." Lil Nas X's arrest, trial, and rumored death sentence aren't just about him. They're about every artist who dares to think they're bigger than the machine. And that's why this story has the internet on fire. Because it doesn't just feel like the fall of one man, it feels like a warning shot. A signal to everyone that if you push too far, if you refuse to play by the rules, you'll be made into an example. But the question is, will it work? Because instead of silencing him, the rumors are making him louder than ever. #JusticeForNas is trending globally. Protests are forming outside courthouses. Petition sites are crashing under the weight of signatures demanding transparency. The people aren't buying the official story anymore. They want answers, and they're not letting go. And here's the most disturbing part. Leaked chatter from government sources hints that this scandal could spiral beyond entertainment. We're talking potential federal investigations into judicial misconduct, record label corruption, and even political cover-ups. Think Watergate, but with cowboy boots and chart-topping singles. So, where does that leave us? With a superstar who might be facing death, an industry that looks dirtier than ever, and a public that refuses to sit quietly. The stage is set, the players are in position, and the curtain is about to rise on the ugliest act yet. Because Part 3 isn't about rumors anymore. It's about fallout, investigations, resignations, and the kind of backlash that could shake the foundations of Hollywood itself. By now, the whispers have turned into roars. What started as a strange arrest and a few shady leaks has snowballed into a scandal that threatens to topple more than just one pop star. It's shaking the entire entertainment machine. The courtroom rumors about a death sentence weren't just shocking, they ignited a chain reaction. Outside the courthouse, the scene looks less like a legal proceeding and more like a political rally. Protesters with handmade signs scream, "Justice for Nas," while riot police stand shoulder to shoulder, ready for chaos. Fans cry, influencers live stream, and news anchors struggle to keep up with the avalanche of speculation. One reporter on live TV even admitted, "We've lost control of this story." And when the media admits they've lost control, you know the truth is clawing its way to the surface. Behind the scenes, government watchdogs are circling. Anonymous leaks suggest that California's Attorney General has quietly ordered an internal review of the case.
Why?
Because the inconsistencies are stacking higher than Nas's Billboard records. Missing evidence, conflicting reports, judges refusing to comment. It's not just suspicious anymore, it's criminal negligence. And if those internal reviews confirm even half the rumors, we're talking about a collapse of trust in both the judicial system and the entertainment industry that feeds off it. Think about it. The same system that let billionaires and abusers walk free is suddenly ready to fry a pop star for resisting arrest? Really? That's not justice, that's theater. It's punishment dressed up as procedure, and the world isn't buying the ticket anymore. Meanwhile, cracks are appearing in the industry facade. A junior executive, who later deleted her LinkedIn, allegedly told a friend, "We were told to cut ties fast. They didn't want us anywhere near him once the trial started." Translation: they knew this was coming. They knew the verdict before the first gavel fell. And instead of helping, they ran. Celebrities are finally breaking their silence too, though not all in his favor. Some quietly post cryptic emojis, others drop vague statements about injustice without naming names. But the real bombshell? A leaked group chat between several A-list artists shows them debating whether to publicly support Nas or stay quiet to protect their own careers. One chilling line allegedly reads, "If they can do this to him, they can do it to us."
Exactly.
And that's the point. But here's where it gets even uglier. International media has jumped into the frenzy. European outlets are framing the case as a human rights violation, while tabloids in Asia are plastering headlines like "America executes its icons." Even the United Nations, yes, the actual UN, has been tagged in viral posts demanding intervention. Imagine that, a pop star's trial sparking global outrage at the highest level. Only in 2025. Financial fallout is unavoidable. Stock prices of his record label's parent company are reportedly tanking, wiping billions off their value in just days. Sponsors are panicking, advertisers pulling out, and lawyers are preparing class action suits claiming investors were misled about the risks of associating with such a volatile star. Translation: everyone's losing money, and nothing terrifies the industry more than that. And let's not forget the spiritual angle. Religious leaders, many of whom once condemned Lil Nas X, are now awkwardly weighing in. Some call his rumored death sentence divine justice, while others are warning that the industry is playing God by deciding who lives and who dies. The irony is almost too rich to process. The same voices that demonized him are now defending him, not out of compassion, but out of fear of what this scandal reveals about the machine itself. But the most chilling development yet? A leaked memo from within the Department of Justice suggesting that federal agents are investigating whether Lil Nas X's arrest and trial were influenced by corporate money. That's right, we're talking about potential bribery, jury tampering, and systemic corruption at the highest levels. If proven, this isn't just a scandal. It's a full-blown collapse of legitimacy. And the public is not waiting for official confirmation. They've already rendered their verdict. Nas isn't guilty, he's a victim. A pawn sacrificed to keep the illusion of control intact. Petition sites are drowning in millions of signatures demanding his release. Fans are calling for boycotts of labels, sponsors, and even mainstream media outlets. And hashtags like #FreeNas and #EndIndustryCorruption are spreading faster than wildfire. Now imagine the fallout if the unthinkable actually happens. If a judge dares to hand down that rumored death sentence. It wouldn't just destroy trust in the courts. It would detonate trust in the entire system of fame, fortune, and manufactured stardom. We're talking riots, boycotts, possibly even international sanctions against Hollywood corporations. Think I'm exaggerating? Remember how fast #MeToo went global? Remember how George Floyd's case turned into worldwide protests? This has the same energy, but with a celebrity face plastered on it.
So, what happens next?
Legal experts say the case is already a mess. Appeals would drag on for years. But the damage is done. Lil Nas X has become more than a musician, more than a celebrity. He's become a symbol. A symbol of everything rotten in the entertainment industry, everything corrupt in the justice system, and everything the public is finally refusing to swallow. And here's the irony. In trying to silence him, they've made him louder than ever. His name is trending in places that never even streamed his music. His face is plastered on protest banners, his story fueling documentaries that haven't even been made yet. The attempt to erase him has immortalized him instead. But that doesn't change the brutal reality. As of right now, the future of Lil Nas X is hanging by a thread. The leaked verdict draft hangs over his head like a guillotine. The industry is crumbling under the weight of its own lies. And the world is watching, waiting, and demanding answers. So let's ask the real question. If this is what they can do to one of the most famous artists on earth, what chance does anyone else have? If Lil Nas X can be stripped down, drugged up, dragged into court, and possibly sentenced to die, all while cameras roll, what does that say about the rest of us? About justice, about fame, about power? Because this isn't just Lil Nas X's trial anymore. This is a trial of the entire system. And whether he walks free or is silenced forever, the verdict will echo far beyond one courtroom. It will decide how much longer we, the public, are willing to play along with the charade. And so here we are. After all the leaks, the whispers, the courtroom chaos, and the rumors of a death sentence, one truth stands clear. This is bigger than Lil Nas X. This is about how far the system will go to build you up, break you down, and then bury you when you're no longer useful.
Think about it.
If a global superstar with millions of fans, billions of streams, and the eyes of the world watching can be dragged into court and silenced, what chance do ordinary people have? If verdicts are drafted before trials even begin, if evidence disappears before it can be questioned, if industry insiders can pull strings like puppet masters, then what exactly is justice anymore? And maybe that's the question they don't want us asking. Maybe that's why the media spins the narrative, why celebrities stay silent, and why courtroom rumors are brushed off as conspiracy theories. Because the second we stop buying the official story, their power begins to crack. So I'll ask you, do you believe Lil Nas X is guilty? Or do you believe he's being executed in public to send a message? Was this justice, or was this theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your voice matters more than theirs. And don't just scroll away. Hit like if you believe something sinister is happening here. Share this video so the truth spreads faster than their lies. And subscribe right now, because trust me, this is just the beginning. More leaks are coming, more lies will be exposed, and you won't want to miss the next jaw-dropping twist. This isn't the end. It's the start of a fight for truth. And together, we decide how it ends. Trust me, this story is far from over.